Iowa Senate passes a pro-child labor bill. What are the details here? I'll tell you. The Iowa Legislature went into session earlier Tuesday morning, debating none other than child labor laws with the passing of SF 542, a bill centered around youth employment. In late March, the Iowa Federation of Labor, alongside several other unions, protested at the Iowa State Capitol. That was just one of many protests held around the state in an effort to stop this. It's not stopping, not yet. So exactly what would this bill do, right? Well, the bill would let the directors of the Iowa Department of Education or Iowa Workforce Development grant exceptions, allowing 14 to 17-year-olds to work in jobs currently banned for minors, as long as they are part of an approved training program with adequate supervision and safety precautions. On Tuesday morning, session opened at 3:36 a.m. and the vote on SF 542 in the Iowa Senate happened at 4:52 a.m. It passed by a vote of 32 to 17. All Democrats voted against it, as well as 2 Republicans. Bill allows 14-year-olds to work 6-hour night shifts, allows 15-year-olds to work in plants on assembly lines, moving items up to 50 pounds, and allows 16 and 17-year-olds to serve alcohol. Democrats argue the bill will increase the risk of workplace accidents by exposing inexperienced kids to more dangerous work environments. They tried unsuccessfully to amend the bill to offer additional workers' compensation benefits for teenagers who get injured on the job. This from the Des Moines Register. Iowa Senator Janice Weiner of Johnston spoke out against the bill, saying, "I wouldn't want my granddaughter serving alcohol or getting an exception to do hazardous work in the name of workplace learning. A workplace accident can happen in the blink of an eye. It takes mere seconds for a red iron beam to fall. Iowans should not be putting our kids, and they are kids, in dangerous situations." But Iowa Senator Adrian Dickey of Jefferson says this bill, we are strengthening and providing protections to our youth. We are not forcing them into slave labor. We are not selling our children. We are not even requiring them to work. Senate amended the bill early Tuesday to say minors could not serve alcohol in bars. Previous version of the bill would have allowed 16 and 17-year-olds to serve alcohol in both bars and restaurants. It was not intended to put minors in Tom's Tavern slinging drinks, rather to allow these youths to work in Renee's restaurant, Dickey said. The Senate also amended the bill Tuesday to clarify that 16 and 17-year-olds cannot work in strip clubs, although Senate Republicans said that has never been allowed under current law. The bill would let kids under 16 work up to 6 hours a day, 2 more than the current maximum of 4 hours a day, and they could work longer into the evening until 9 p.m. during the school year, 11 p.m. during the summer. 16 and 17-year-olds could work the same number of hours per day as adults. It would also create a committee to study the possibility of letting teens 14 and older get a special driver's permit to drive to work. Bennie, I think you should speak on all of this first.
Yeah, I mean, this is just deeply shameful. I mean, there's so many layers to this. Like, a part of it goes to what we were talking about earlier, which is really just the attack on youth that we're seeing from the political right now, where, I mean, I guess they think that children are spending too much time paying attention to school or thinking about school or learning things in general, so they want to send them to work. Then it goes to the layer of misogyny that we were talking about earlier, which is, do you understand what having like a 16-year-old serving alcohol would actually look like in real life? There's already a massive problem of people working in the service industry having to deal with a ridiculous amount of sexual harassment from customers. Even more so anytime there's an environment where there's alcohol involved. And so to have a 16-year-old serving alcohol is to put them in an incredibly dangerous situation, right? It is already a dangerous situation if it's just somebody who's 18 that's serving alcohol, much less somebody who is 16, okay? And they are just literally less likely to know how to respond. They're less likely to understand what to do when to respond, like all of these different things. And so then you have the layer of quite literally putting children in active danger by just the hazards of being in different workplaces that have more hazardous conditions, depriving children of sleep, by extending the amount of hours that they can work. All of these things are major problems, and it literally cuts into people's ability to get an education, to go and just finish high school. And so really there's so many layers to this, but fundamentally this is an attack on the safety of children. This is an attack on the rights of children to live lives that are comforted and sheltered enough as children that they can just get an education, that they can live their lives and figure out who they want to be when they turn 18 and go to college or whatever. And so it is deeply sickening and shameful that Republicans are willing to put children in this type of danger, especially the fact that they didn't even consider the context of potentially putting 16-year-olds in bars until after they had to go and amend it. But it's even more sickening while at the same time Republicans are trying to strip what agency like that children should actually have away from them by denying them to have any type of identity, by saying that they're not allowed to mention being gay or trans in school or risk being outed by their teachers. All of this is happening at the same time. Quite literally, they're trying to force children into the workplace, into dangerous situations, while also denying them to have even the most basic level of agency or autonomy to just say what their name is or what their pronouns are, just basic things like that.
We are going so far back and trying to, what's next? Should we just drive around in a horse and buggy? Because back then, there were no labor laws to protect children, and there were not their property. And it seems that some, and I think you're right, by identifying that they are on the right, believe that children are just property, and that if we need more workers here, or we want to marry them off and maybe get dowry, some money or something. I don't know why these people are insisting in some jurisdictions that, at least one in Missouri, a certain rep, that children are such property that you can do with them as you wish, and everyone should stay out of it, while at the same time not allowing children to have any say. I mean, when my daughter, Bennie, was just little, I felt that she wasn't my property and she deserved some say. So if she wanted to go out that day with me and put on a red sock and a pink one and her sweater on backwards, I didn't see what's so wrong with that. Is there something wrong with that? At what point do you listen to a child's wishes and desires? And did anyone even do a focus group on what children maybe want, or talk to people who've had experiences working as children? I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, I mean, fundamentally, it boils down to whether or not you think children are property or a responsibility. I think morally decent people view children as a responsibility. And now, granted, that means like you have to do some things for children, and children aren't going to be able to make all the decisions for themselves. Yeah. But also, like, we do recognize that if you're a parent, you are responsible to your children. You don't own them, and you don't have any right to control literally every single thing that they do, because they're not going to grow up to be healthy if you try to do that anyway. And so, like, fundamentally, it's just all about this mentality of property versus responsibility.
Wow. And that's that any parent, I think, and we never get it perfect, but I do feel an enormous responsibility because she didn't ask to be here. It's just, whoever you want to be, I want to support that. As long as you're a good person, you don't have to be me. You don't have to be, just be you. And I think we've got to be supportive of that. But there's a whole group of people out there who are hell-bent on turning children into their little mini-me soldiers. And it's just so sick, exploited, endangered, and it's just so sick